What is going on, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of our breaking every MLB team down one by one as we head to the start of the 2025 MLB season. And in episode 1, as you can see on your screen, we are going to be talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, the Arizona Diamondbacks last year finished 89-73, third place in the NL West. And here's the thing, the Diamondbacks were a playoff team until we got to the last day of the regular season when the Mets and Braves had to make up a postponed 2-game set and they split it. Diamondbacks don't make the playoffs. The Braves and Mets steal their spot. So, the Diamondbacks went into this last offseason with many question marks, and we're going to start with their biggest loss of the team that they had last year. And this, of course, was just this guy right here, Christian Walker. He signs a 3-year, $60 million deal with the Houston Astros. And here's the thing with Christian Walker. I had a feeling he was going to go to the Yankees or for some reason the Washington Nationals. The Washington Nationals brought in Nathaniel Lau from the Texas Rangers, and we'll get to the Rangers and Nationals in later versions of this video. But the Houston Astros, this was a great addition for them. They needed a power-hitting first baseman. They get Christian Walker. Now with the Arizona Diamondbacks, they lose that power-hitting first baseman. And what did they do? We'll get to that in a second. And then they also lost a Jock Peterson, 2 years, $37 million, and this deal kind of shocked me that he got that much from Texas, but good for Jock Peterson. They were able to bring back a Randall Grichuk. They lose out on Kevin Newman. Paul Sewald goes to Cleveland. They lose out on Luis Guillorme to Houston. A couple guys in Houston, actually Miguel Castro. They lost Josh Bell, that is, as well. So they lose a couple power-hitting first baseman options. But then we are going to see how they fix this, and I honestly think this is the start of one of the most underrated MLB offseasons you could have ever asked for as a small market team that is the Arizona Diamondbacks. So here was their big move, Josh Naylor, who is going to be making $10.9 million after arbitration this past season, and he was traded from the Cleveland Guardians, and everyone was kind of surprised that they did this, to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So the Diamondbacks got rid of Christian Walker. They weren't able to re-sign him, and they replaced him with a guy who I think has a lot more pop in his bat in Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated power hitters in baseball. The only reason he doesn't really get a lot of love is this. It's his batting average. 243 last year. He has projected a 266 on FGDC. And here's the thing with projections. I don't really look at them that much just because there's so many different projection services you could look at. I know we'll look at a couple in these videos in this whole series, but here's the thing with projections. They're very subjective. You have your own opinions. If you think he's going to be good, you can use your own math to do that. I think Josh Naylor is going to be completely fine in the ballpark that he will now be calling home, Chase Field in Arizona. I think he's going to be fine there. I think he's going to add a lot of pop. Like, here's the power drop-off. 31 from last year, it's projected to have 23. He is projected to be a 23 home run guy after hitting 31 last season. I think Josh Naylor is going to be very okay in this Diamondbacks lineup. And speaking of their lineup, let's look at this lineup after this, honestly, great underrated power bat addition. Okay, so here is their projected starting lineup. Let's go 1 through 9 right here. Corbin Carroll will bat leadoff projected-wise. Ketel Marte, Josh Naylor, the big addition. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Jake McCarthy, Eugenio Suarez, Pavin Smith, Gabriel Moreno. Honestly, one of the most underrated catchers in the game. We saw him a good year last year. I think he's due for a big year. He's projected a 4.2 WAR, by the way, on Fangraphs. And then Geraldo Perdomo as their 9th guy. Bench-wise, you're going to have Jose Herrera, Blaze Alexander, Randall Grichuk, a good platoon bat they were able to bring back on a pretty cheap, very affordable deal, and then Alek Thomas. The question I have with this lineup is, how are they going to compete against this Dodgers and Padres? Because you know what? I think the answer to that question is, it is going to be a very competitive lineup. I like what this lineup can do. I think it is going to be very underrated this season. Just look at the top 3 guys. Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Josh Naylor. I don't like the projected WAR for Josh Naylor, honestly. I think he should be at least a 2 or higher. I really like Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte, though. And let me say this about Ketel Marte. By far, one of the most underrated players in the entire game right now. I don't think Ketel Marte gets as much love as he does deserve. He got an all-star nod last year. He's been in the MLB for over 8 seasons, started in Seattle. Here he is in Arizona. He is tearing it up at an MLB caliber level. I think Ketel Marte honestly deserves a lot more love than what he has given. I really, for some reason, think Jake McCarthy and Alek Thomas are going to be a good duo in the outfield or on the bench. Jake McCarthy projected a 1.9 WAR. Alek Thomas on the bench projected a 1.1 WAR, leading the bench guys. Here's the thing with that, though. I was kind of surprised neither of which was traded, and this might be a hot take. I think before we get to the big move the Diamondbacks did, I had a feeling that they needed to trade one of those guys to maybe get a young, controllable starter. This could have been a guy on a Pirates team, a guy on a Reds team, one of their young starters for a player that they needed, an outfield bat. Both those teams honestly needed outfielders this year, and they didn't really do much to do that. Tommy Pham goes to the Pirates, and Austin Hayes goes to the Reds. So they probably could have both done a lot better. Those two guys would have been awesome for either of those teams. They would have been great additions. So I was kind of shocked they didn't try to make a trade happen. But here's the thing. They made the most surprising addition of the offseason I don't think any of us saw coming, and let's go right down to it. So here was the big move that the Diamondbacks made. It was Corbin Burnes, a 6-year, $210 million deal that is running through 2030. None of us saw this coming. No MLB fans saw Corbin Burnes going to Arizona. And this is complete props to the Arizona Diamondbacks for making this happen. The Diamondbacks have been known as a smaller market team. They have officially, I think, graduated from small market into mid-major market just because they are spending money, unlike these small market teams. Spending 6 years, $210 million on a pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks, that is awesome. They did it with Jordan Montgomery last year. It didn't work out. He's projected to be in the bullpen. But Corbin Burnes is not a Jordan Montgomery. Corbin Burnes is a constant Cy Young Award threat-winning pitcher of that type. He is going to be in award runnings all those years, every single season. He is going to give the Diamondbacks multiple all-star nods. I think he's a great addition to this pitching rotation. Projections are very subjective. It's up to you if you want to believe him or not. I think he's going to exceed all the expectations that these projections are making. I think he's going to have a better year than last year than he had in Baltimore. And honestly, I'm kind of upset for the Baltimore Orioles fans that they couldn't make this work. But the Arizona Diamondbacks, this was the peak of their offseason. This is what they did right. They added guys that are going to help them win in a already hard division to win. It is headlined by the LA Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. The Padres have Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, all those guys. And then there's the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're ahead of the Giants and they're way ahead of the Rockies. But here's the thing with the Diamondbacks. They are fighting for a wild card spot because I don't think they're going to win this division. They are fighting for a wild card spot. They were robbed last year from the Mets and the Braves. And this year, I think they are in the running at least to be in, I guess, the top wild card this year, you could say. And here's a look at their pitching rotation. Corbin Burnes will headline it. Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez, who missed a lot of last year. He is projected to get a lot more outings this time around because he had an injury last year. Projected a 1.9 WAR, 3.84 ERA. I think that will be about where he is. And Brandon Pfaadt, who had a crazy good World Series run a couple years ago. He was a big X factor on that Diamondbacks team just about 2 seasons ago. He is projected a 2 WAR, 3.91 ERA. Honestly, about where he is. And here's the Corbin Burnes projected ERA at 3.33. Sorry, I do not like that. I think it's either going to be lower or honestly it could be there, but I think it is going to be lower. But overall, there's the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's take a quick look at their bullpen right down here. The big thing, Jordan Montgomery, he was relegated to the bullpen after having not a good year as a starter. I think a lot of this has to do with him waiting so long to sign with the Arizona Diamondbacks last year. It didn't work out. We saw Blake Snell figure it out with the Giants, and now he is on the Dodgers. But Jordan Montgomery is still on the Diamondbacks. Clearly, they were not able to trade him. I know there was some quotes by their owner I didn't like him saying out loud. I'm kind of surprised they said that stuff, but it's his team. But here's the thing with Montgomery, I think he'll be fine in the bullpen. Honestly, he could pitch good enough in spring training to get back in that rotation. I don't think that's going to be the case. And they also made a really good addition in Kendall Graveman, who was just signed a couple days ago. He's a very experienced MLB pitcher, over 9 MLB years of service time. He originally signed with the Blue Jays. I think he is a great addition to this young bullpen because there's not a lot of service time you can look at and say these are some veterans guys. They brought in A.J. Puck last year, who was traded from the Marlins. Their closer right now is Justin Martinez with just over a year of service time. It's a very young pitching staff overall, especially in the bullpen. I think Kendall Graveman adds a lot of experience. Overall, I really like what the Diamondbacks have done this offseason. I think they are going to be in the 85 to 90 win total easily. I think they are going to be maybe competing for second place. I think they might have a better team than the San Diego Padres. Call me crazy. We'll get to the Padres in a later video. I'm going to make a playlist of all these videos, so if you miss your team, my thoughts on them, you can go to the playlist and look for them, or you can just binge watch them all if you want. Thank you all for watching this video. It means a lot. Subscribe to the channel down below if you like baseball as much as me. It would mean a lot. It's free to do. Like the video down below as well. Comment your thoughts on the Arizona Diamondbacks. If you're a Diamondbacks fan and I got something wrong or a take wrong, let me know what I got wrong down below. If you have any other thoughts, any other predictions for the Diamondbacks this year, leave them down below as well. But leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. It's free to do. And I can't wait to get through all the rest of these. There's 29 more teams to go. And I'm going to make a playlist so we can binge watch these if you want to. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.